example number 3 here, it says graph y equals 3 and x equals negative 2. So I've got two things that I need to graph here. But remember the name of this section. It says a linear equation in two variables. And these equations only have one variable in each one. So what does that mean? Well, let me show you. Okay, I'm going to put a little title up here. It's called horizontal. Horizontal is like the horizon, goes from side to side, and vertical. Okay, all right, horizontal and vertical lines. Now, for this one, it says y equals 3, and it says graph. And guys, whenever I'm graphing, I need a t-chart. That's what I'm using. I'm going to get a table of values. Why do they call this a t-chart? Okay, x and y. All right, well, I always put my input, right, my x's, my domain, right? This is domain up here. Not pomain, but domain. Input, output, this is the range over here. All right, a little vocabulary. Let's keep up with the vocabulary. Might show up on the next quiz. All right, but for the input, I usually choose -1, 0, and 1. Small numbers, negative, positive, 0. Okay, it serves all the purposes. Now, when I think about this, when I plug in -1, I can't even plug in -1. What are you talking about, Mr. C? Yeah, I know, but it says y equals 3, period. Y equals 3. Well, what about when x is 0? Y equals 3. What about when y equals 1? Mr. C, liven up, smarten up, man. Come on. It said y equals 3. All the y's equal 3. No matter what the x is, the y equals 3. Okay. There's my x line, my x-axis, my y-axis, right? I need the y to equal 3. I need a -1 and a +1 down here, right? Here's 4. Alright, so let's see. -1, 3, that goes right here. 0, 3, that goes right there. Oh, a little off. 1, 3, that goes right there. Wait a minute. Yeah, exactly. Y equals 3 is a horizontal line. It's the collection of all the points that have a y of 3. Okay. Alright. Well, I'm betting, Mr. C, that when I do my t-chart over here, all the x's, I can't choose my x's on this one because it says x equals -2. -2, -2. Okay, well, I can choose my y's. It doesn't matter. X is always -2. I'll let y be -1, 0, and 1. What does that look like? Okay, well, let's graph it. Here's my x-axis. Here's my y-axis. X needs to be -2. All right, so there's -2. And I need a y of -1, 0, and +1. Okay? So let's see. X is -2, y is -1. That's one line. X is -2, y is 0. X is -2, y is 1. That's a vertical line. X equals always gives me a vertical line. Y equals always gives me a horizontal line. Now I'm going to ask you a thinking question here for just a second. Which one of these, one of them is a function? Which one? One of them is not a function. Give you a minute to just look at that and think about it. Remember how we can determine what a function is when I'm looking at its graph. I can use something called the vertical line test. And if you look at this one over here, right? Oh, I didn't want to do that. Let me put it right back where it was. If I look at this line right here, okay, that's a little too much. There we go. Okay, fair enough. Done. If I look at this line, I can see that there are no vertical lines that I can draw through it and hit the line more than once. Now this one over here on the right, I can draw a vertical line and I'm going to hit an infinite number of points. So that one's definitely not a function. X equals are vertical lines, they're not functions. Y equals, they are functions. All right? Good job, guys.